Good morning, everyone. It's your host, Bear Evans of Lil Mike Fight Night, and welcome to my 36th episode. If you're new to the channel or you just appreciate me going through all of this footage, putting it all together for free, please like and subscribe. It helps me out so much. You have no idea whether you comment hate or love or just continue the conversation of MMA and fighting down below. I love y'all, and with that, let's get to the episode. We're going to be talking about Ryan Garcia and his failed drug test, or his not failed drug test, and we're going to also be talking about Jake Paul's interview about Mike Tyson, that it's now officially a fight. It is no longer an exhibition. So with Ryan Garcia, I had this amazing, video planned and lined up, and we were going to talk about why Ryan failing that drug test wasn't necessarily what you think. Derek from More Plates, More Dates. If you're not familiar, he is like the staple in the bodybuilding world for like science when it comes about pharmacology for performance-enhancing drugs, and we're going to listen to a little bit what he has to say. I'm going to give you a little bit of more information that I've heard from other places. I'm going to give you some of my, I'm not a doctor, but some of my professional bro science as well, and then we're going to talk about the whole bombshell. So, Ryan Garcia failed his drug test for a substrate that was similar to nolandrolone, or DECA. I can't say it correctly, but everyone calls it DECA. So with steroids, there's different esters. So with testosterone, there's like propionate, cypionate, S-enate. There's different esters and half-lives, right? So Ryan Garcia was on something very similar to DECA or nolandrolone, and I'm not going to read the whole thing out there. And then also he failed, so that is a PED, that it can be a steroid, right? And the next one was going to be a SARM, which is a selective androgen receptor modulate. I can't think today, guys. And so a SARM is it plays on the same androgen receptors, but it's to a minimal effect compared to steroids. So steroids is anabolic to androgenic, so one is positive, one is negative, right? So testosterone's about to 1-to-1, with, what's that really dangerous one, Tren. It's been like 10 years since I was bodybuilding, but Tren is like super anabolic, but it's also super androgenic, so there's side effects and muscle growth, right? So with SARMs, it's more anabolic than it is androgenic, right? There's a better window, but the efficacy or the effect isn't as strong. So with steroids, specifically talking about Ryan Garcia getting close to DECA, I'm going to just use testosterone as an example because it's more so what I know about, but it also is the exact same concept when I'm speaking. It's interchangeable. So with testosterone, we already produce testosterone naturally, right? Well, we produce it through our cholesterol. Well, you can get testosterone that's made exogenously, and it uses like plants and stuff like that, plant matter, right? And so then we can inject testosterone into our body. Whenever you get tested for testosterone, like when I go monthly for my TRT, they're getting my total testosterone count, and they can't tell if it's from plant-based, me buying pharmaceutical-grade testosterone, or it's from my actual body making it myself. Yes, there's other markers you can look at, like your free test, your sex hormone binding, globulin, whatever. But at the end of the day, you have to use like a radioisotope test, essentially I can't speak right now. Pharmaceutical grade testosterone, which is not human testosterone, not the type your body makes, is made from plants. And then what your body's made from is your cholesterol testosterone, right? It's made from cholesterol. So you can look at it and see how many, I'm not a science, that's where the doctor goes away to bro science, but it's still true, just like the dumb version. It's, the amount of carbon atoms on a certain, isotope when they're looking at it, and that's how you can tell. So Ryan Garcia failed for a DECA substrate, but we couldn't tell if it was from his body or if it was exogenous or endogenous. Was it exogenous as in we're putting it into our body from somewhere else, and endogenous as our body is making it, right? We could not tell. So this is going to be Derek More Plates, More Dates, talking about when someone has a minuscule amount now about the SARMs, because SARMs your body does not make, and it's definitely PED, but he had trace amounts in there. So in my opinion, and so I am an amateur boxer, but I'm not in professional fighting anything whatsoever, so I don't understand that application. But when it comes to bodybuilding, I do understand the application of steroids and PEDs, for I coached people doing it many, many years ago, as well as before my car accident, I took mini cycles as well. So whenever I think about someone has trace, amounts of a PED in their body, what I think about is, okay, they took some a long time ago, and now it's slowly coming out, right? So if let's say I don't produce any more testosterone because I've been on HRT now for like 20 years, right? Which that's not true, I'm just being over-exaggerative, but my testosterone completely shut down naturally, right? So I go ahead and I inject 1 gram of testosterone, and my testosterone free count, it goes up to 4,000 or something crazy like that, okay? So I'm at 4,000, next week it's at 3,000, you know, goes down, do the math, goes down all the way until there's minuscule amounts, right? So to me, when someone says there's trace amounts of a drug, I'm like, that just means they probably took it. This is Derek More Plates, More Dates, one of the most respected people in the game of pharmacology when it comes to PEDs. Let's hear what he has to say, and then we're going to dive in to the mischievousness of VADA, the drug testing agency, and possibly them setting up Ryan Garcia.
Muscle, but is it as effective as, steroids? It could be in certain dosages, depending on what you're comparing it to, but it's highly detectable. This is something that, when assessed pharmacokinetically, even when they apply microdoses, literally 1 microgram, can be detected for up to 9 days. So 1 microgram, to put this into context, fostering the actual efficacious dose to get a performance-enhancing effect in a man who has a man's amount of testosterone would be in the double-digit milligrams likely. For it to be actually worth using, you're going to be, over 10 milligrams probably. So, what is the probability that 1 microgram, not milligram, 1 microgram that can be detected for 9 days, would Ryan be intentionally taking something with an ostarine product for performance enhancement right on the day of his fight, essentially, or right before it? Why would he be doing that at an amount that is likely completely impossible to impart a performance enhancing advantage? Now, I don't actually know the amount, how far past the threshold he detected. I'm going to assume it is not significant enough to be performance enhancing, but we'll see about that. Because if he had an amount that was worth using, he probably would have been on it days leading to the fight, not the day of. It's not going to acutely modulate aggression, kind of psychoactive effects in the ring that are going to help you be more accurate, help with motor unit recruitment. It's not going to make you acutely stronger. It's not really going to do a whole lot. It's not going to do anything from a resilience standpoint. If anything, it's just unnecessary risk if you were to intentionally take this compound right before your fight. And no person in his camp, I would imagine, would be stupid enough to advise him to take it as the compound of choice, knowing the detectability. Like, SARMs are not endogenously produced. These are synthetic compounds that were designed by manipulating anti-androgens to create something that is tissue selective, anabolic, with a lack of androgenic activity, and they work pretty decently up to a certain threshold at which anabolic steroids completely blow them out of the water for anabolic ceiling potential. But they're so detectable, it's absurd. Like, you would not be using this for performance enhancement as your compound of choice, especially at the time that he used it. So I'm very skeptical that this was intentionally used, and it is very common for dietary supplements, especially ones that are not NSF certified, aggressively third-party tested out the wazoo, Ayurvedic herbs that are not patented. Like, you are just asking to test positive for some trace, almost undetectable amount, but actually detectable by WADA standards compound like this. Like, to me, that was just a very, very stupid move by him to be using anything that was not by, like a thorn or something that was approved by his trainers or by somebody like relatively in the know about what you could be using as a tested athlete. Especially if you're in VADA, like, you should not be using random companies that are not.
Okay, guys, if Derek More Plates, More Dates says it, I would be dumb to disagree. So I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, why would they be giving him trace amounts, right? And this is before the news, obviously, that came out. If you haven't heard, then I'm happy I'm giving you the news first. But let me just go into why Derek More Plates, More Dates was talking about don't be taking random supplements. So you're like, hey, what do you mean? I go to the CVS or I go to GNC and I buy, my whatever the heck you need to get, from if it's magnesium, pump product, pre-workout, maybe testosterone booster. All of those supplements aren't tested. They aren't regulated. You can literally, I can start a protein company and I can just put chalk powder in there and I can sell it, and I could be like 21 grams of L-leucine and 50 grams of, dextra cluster, whatever the frick it's called. It's been so long, and it's got 50 grams of caffeine, and really it's just chalk. I mean, they can sell you whatever they want to because no one checks for it. It's not FDA approved. So keep that in mind when you're buying supplements. Now, Let's get on to the breaking news. Boxing Scene just went ahead and released this, and this is the post. Bear with me, I am dyslexic and I'm not the best reader, so I'm working with you. NYSAC head Kim Sumbler resigns as Garcia's fate awaits. As the New York State Athletic Commission readies to determine the fate of Ryan Garcia, the commission's executive director has resigned for family reasons, saying the move has been in the work for several months. I've never heard of it. Ken Sumbler, who was in the position for 8 years, will be replaced by acting executive director Matthew Delgalio, who is expected to assume the role fully according to the official familiar with it. Schumer told Boxing Scene on Tuesday that she understands her move will be a surprise to many in the combat sports community. Explains she's been plotting to retire for the past few months. I helped to tend to her elderly parents and spend time with her husband. Let me see if I can go down here and talk about this move here. Garcia, here we go. Scrambler exit as the commission is beginning its review of the voluntary anti-doping agency's assassins, I don't know what that means, reports of the drug test of Ryan Garcia, who defeated the then unbeaten WBC lightweight Devin Haney by majority decision. Garcia, after weighing 3.2 pounds over the 140-pound weight limit, submitted a positive result for the banned performance-enhancing substance ostarine, according to VADA reports. VADA clarified Tuesday that the steroid metabolite 19-norandtestosterone that originally screened positive is not present in the second test. Garcia's attorney on Tuesday that the ostarine presence is 1/1,000,000th of a gram in the range provided by Ryan Garcia with no performance-enhancing benefit whatsoever. Garcia has requested a B sample testing on May 22nd. Upon reviewing VADA's completed work, New York State Athletic Commission is empowered to suspend and fine Garcia and may also charge a victory to no contest. So, in the beginning, the news came out that he fell for that 19-norandrotestosterone or whatever. I can't say correctly. Think about norandrolone or Deca. That's basically what it is. It's just a different ester half-life. Your body, though, also produces norandrolone naturally, okay, like it does estrogen, testosterone, cortisol. Think about hormones, right? And so he said they failed for it originally, and then the second test, it's not present. But now, they weren't ever talking about ostarine until the second test. Now they're like, ostarine's present, and it's so fishy that the freaking, the state commissioner, or, the state commissioner of this VADA, like the athletic state commission, I can't talk today, I'm so sorry, literally stepped down. The executive director stepped down right after this news. So it seems fishy to me. Chael Sonnen called it. Jesse on Fire also spoke about it a little bit more, but just talking about that some of the guys involved in this are known for cheating drug tests. A lot of people right now are coming now on Ryan's side, even though he lied about the whole mental health thing. Recently he said he didn't lie about it, but he also said he did lie about it. So I can't believe a liar whatsoever. But when it comes to the drug testing thing, when you have people like Chael Sonnen, Jesse on Fire, Derek More Plates, More Dates, talking about, hey, it's either a tainted substance or it's not real, it's starting to believe more and more realistic. Now, with that being said, I don't really care too much. Ryan Garcia is kind of a joke. Amazing performance, but I didn't like all the antics. He doesn't need to do that. Let's go over and talk about Jake Paul and their exhibition fight versus Mike Tyson, July, I think 21st or 29th, becoming an actual fight. So we're going to play that, and we're also going to be talking about Jake Paul fighting at heavyweight. Let's go ahead and play the first clip.
Make them like me.
Okay, cool. So there's the two perspectives of it. From the viewership standpoint, you could say this is a lose-lose because if you win to Mike Tyson and knock out Mike Tyson...
They're just going to say he's old and you disrespected him and all this shit. But I just want to make it clear that Mike Tyson was the one who wanted it to be a pro fight. Mike got into training camp and called up people on my team, and we're like, let's do a pro fight. Is Jake down? Netflix was like, let's make it a pro fight. We're down. And I said to Nikisa, if that's what Mike wants, then that's fine. But make sure you tell Mike that there's no holding back. Whatever happens, happens, and this is war now. And if Mike's okay with that, then I'm okay with that. But I want Mike to be the one making this decision because I respect him as the legend. And if he puts me down, I can deal with that. But if I put him down, he needs to be the one making the decision on whether or not he can deal with that. But yes, I'm going in there and
Let Mike Tyson know this is gonna be war. It's gonna be all that. Are you stupid, Jake Paul? Do you know who Mike Tyson is? Mike Tyson is gonna there is no holding back with Mike Tyson is a savage all around animal. He is the goat of the goat on top of the boxing hill. If you think Tyson Fury is a better heavyweight, we probably can't be friends. But the fact that he's like, oh, it's Mike Tyson's idea, if I knock out Mike Tyson, I think is going to wipe the floor with Jake Paul. Look at Mike Tyson's training. Yes, is there the factor of his bone density and age? Even though he's on PEDs, guys, it doesn't make a 6-year-old 20. On a hormonal profile, yeah, absolutely, but not when it comes to your bone density, your calcium, your magnesium, all your nutrients, your brain, your fluid, stuff like that. So I don't know how Mike Tyson's going to take a punch, but I don't know if Mike Tyson can get punched by Jake Paul. Jake Paul has never fought someone with the bobbing, weaving, cutting angles, punching. His head movement is insane, and if you've never been in a fight or sparred or something like that, someone who can roll, throw a punch, cut an angle, come back, I can't even do that, and I train every day to try to be like Mike Tyson, and it's not there, man. So when I'm watching Mike Tyson's training footage, I'm looking at him. He could probably beat any Golden Glove boxer, at least in the state of Texas, in the San Antonio, Houston, Austin area. In my opinion, sorry to my friends who are watching this over at Randazzo's Boxing Gym, but I'm sorry, Mike Tyson would beat every single person in there, period. And so I don't think Jake Paul is prepared because all of his fights, the only pressure he had was Nate Diaz pillow hands, and he literally was slapping him, and and he throws his little a slap hook thing. It's not even a freaking punch. Doesn't turn over his hips. He fought a pillow fist. For 8 rounds. So it's funny to me. He's there's gonna be war, and so it's okay, it's a real fight. So what weight class are they fighting at? Let's go ahead and play that.
Question: how did it get out that you were 230? I saw Wade tweet about it the other day, and how the fuck is that public information?
well, I went to a private event at a restaurant and Shane Mosley was there, and I was just having a private conversation with him, and he put it on a podcast. So
what's the problem with you being 230 though? You're fighting at what, 220?
Heavyweight.
Okay, so
no, it's just shocking to people that is how much I weigh. I think just because normally I'm fighting at 200, I'm walking around at 210.
All the way down to 185 was the lowest you fought, right?
Yeah, it's weird to me that I'm weighing 230.
I like it.
But since this was noodling after my last fight, I'm just getting to eat as much as possible, and it turns out my body can carries this weight super well, and I'm only growing. I think I'll get up to 240 and then probably cut down so I'm way faster. But if I'm training for this camp right hasn't started yet, but if I'm training for this camp at 240 and then I cut down to 220, it's basically I had a 20-pound weight vest on for the whole entire camp. So my muscles are going to be so much stronger, and that speed will come through.
So obviously not.
Okay, so they're fighting at heavyweight, guys, which is 220 and up in this boxing division. They're fighting over in, where the fuck is it? The Dallas or something like that. Don't really care too much about the fight. I care a little bit more that it's happening. Yes, so I want to watch it, but I'm oh my gosh, there's no rankings involved. There's no, and it's a 6-year-old man's coming out, and I'm so excited that Mike Tyson does great and destroys Jake Paul, but it's just not it's not a boxing fight or MMA fight. It's more of a show to me. And they're fighting at 220. Jake Paul saying he's 230. And if you're wondering, hey man, I'm looking at him and he doesn't really seem that big or have these crazy muscles, or he's not really fat. He is a tall guy and bone density plays a part in it. But when he makes this comment where he's saying he's walking around right now at 230 and he says he's going to get up to 240, it is right now, it's May 9th, okay? And he says he's going to get up to 240 in July. So May, let's just give him the whole month. So that's all of May. June, let's give them all May. And let's just say it's July. Let's just say it's July. It happens on the last day of July 31st. Even though it doesn't that's 3 months, okay? And he wants to gain 10 pounds. If you've been working out, like lifting weights for over 2 years, what are you going to gain, like 0.2 pounds? No, hell no. Not even 0.2 pounds of muscle a month. If you're lucky, 0.1 pound of muscle, maybe somehow with the right, if you're taking just a little bit of good stuff, you're eating right, you know, but you can't, what I'm trying to say is you can't put on quality weight that quickly. So where his weight is coming from is his glycogen's getting filled up, which are your natural stores in your muscle in your body. So whenever you eat, its energy either goes to fat or it goes to glycogen, which are stores in your muscles. And then also, obviously, he's going to put on some body fat. So if you already are planning on cutting weight, my goal wouldn't be to put on fat. That would not be my goal unless you're on like an ass load of steroids and you're not telling anyone, yeah, can you put on 10 pounds in 3 months? Absolutely. But Jake Paul, even if he is on something, I mean, he's not taking like bodybuilding doses as he's boxing, right? So it's not going to happen. So my advice to him, if you really want to put on 10 pounds of fat 3 months, how about you just stay at the weight you're at now, which is 230, continue to spar heavy weights, and just stay at that weight. Then you don't have to cut. There's no glycogen depletion. There's no dehydration. There's no caloric deficit. You're going to be sharper and you're going to be better because you're going to need it for Jake Paul, guys. What is y'all's thoughts, guys? Drop your comments down below. Who do you think's going to win? Jake Paul, Mike Tyson? Do you think it's going to go to the decision, or is it going to be a fight ending by knockout? I hope Mike Tyson knocks him out by one of his vicious hooks. Right hand, left hand, I don't care, but I see Mike Tyson pressuring him forward, slipping, hitting him to the body, rolling, and then just doing some nasty hook over the top when he cuts an angle, because Jake Paul has never seen anything like that. It's going to overwhelm him. It's going to scare him. It scares me. And I'm just really excited, I guess, to watch this spectacle. And with all that being said, guys, drop your comments down below what you think. Thank you so much for all the support, and I'm out. Peace.